like stepping on the scale, and then you step on the scale after, so you find out how big your poop was.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of fun sometimes.
Kind of fun sometimes, every goddamn day of my life. So this is EhCast. This is our podcast thing that we do, and we're going to be doing something fun today. So my name's Nathan.
This is Kevin.
Yeah, you're Kevin.
Yep.
Correct. And we're going to be doing something fun today. We're going to start counting down our top 100 games of all time.
100 of them.
100. Now, we're going to be totally clear. Super biased list.
Yes, this is the games that we enjoyed the most.
Exactly.
It's only games that we've played.
Yep.
So we have good experiences of them. And I think... Yeah, I didn't really count like expansions as being separate or mods as being separate too much, so...
Yeah, and we're not doing one from each franchise. Like, we're... You know, if there's a sequel that we like, then we're putting that in. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And with regards to my list, I don't know about yours, but I wasn't even looking at the fact of if it was like objectively a good game. If I had fun with it, if I liked it, then it sticks out in my mind, then I put it on there, basically.
Yeah, mine was my own kind of personal balance of like, you know, objective goodness and like how much fun and time is sunk into them.
Yeah. You went real computer programmer about that whole way you did the list of like the Excel.
Oh man, how to do it in an Excel sheet.
Yeah, super intense.
A lot of games.
What we're going to be doing, we're not going to be doing them all in one episode. What we're going to do is we're going to do 10 a week.
Yep.
So I do 10, Kevin does 10, and then next week we'll do more 10 until we get down to the top 10.
Yep.
And we'll run it all down, have a big episode, a big extravaganza. So we're going to start it off, Kev. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? I figure I'll do one, you'll do one, you'll do one,
Yeah, okay. I'll go.
Okay.
So my number 100 game.
100 game.
Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo.
A classic game that I've actually played a little bit of.
Yeah, I haven't played a huge amount, which is one of the reasons it's so low on my list. It's because it's one of those games that's really big, and I find for whatever reason I never quite sink as much time into it as it probably deserves, just probably because of my own personal taste and stuff.
Right.
But it's a super, super really good game. And what it did for like just the industry as a whole, like just that kind of like let the player go wherever they want. Like it's kind of this like really early like open world games that have a stupidly large amount of level design in them and a lot of creativity from the designer's behalf. Definitely an inspiration for Dark Souls.
Yeah, and it kind of has that kind of thing of like, well, it can't really go this way yet, but I feel like I can come back here later. Once you get a power, you're like, oh shit, now I can break down that door to do this. You know what I mean? And you're like, this makes more sense. And it feels awesome when you go back to an area and you're like a beast.
Yep.
Sick. A lot of fun. I agree with that one, totally. So now my number 100, I thought this one would tick you off. It's Halo.
Combat Evolved.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The first Halo game, it never really...
Early Xbox.
Yeah, and something you're going to notice with my list, at least, is I don't really like shooters. So they're not really on here. I feel this game needs to go on there because I did have some fun with it. Yeah. And I played through the campaign. It stuck in my mind enough to get it onto the list, at least. But I still fail to see what makes Halo a good franchise. The fact that you're like nuts for it boggles my mind.
So... It was really, really big for the time. Like, you know, when Halo came out, corridor shooters were everywhere. You were just always kind of indoors, and it was kind of like dark and dreary and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, Halo 1 starts out with that, and then it opens up into this huge alien world, and it's just kind of this like, you know, this new kind of take on sci-fi. And yeah, just a lot of cool awesomeness, and you know, I'm into it for the multiplayer. Yeah. Halo CE has some of the best multiplayer ever, and it's just hilarious that it's so accidental.
Yeah.
Because like, it was just thrown in last minute. The pistol in it is so strong just because just because they were balancing for campaign. They just realized, oh crap, like how they had the pistol before was completely useless against the elites. And yeah, so they buffed it up, and then we got the infamous Halo CE pistol.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that makes my number 100 on the list, and it's a game that I know is a good game. Yeah. I just don't think it's a good game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my number 99. I don't know if you've played this game or maybe even heard of it. Torchlight 2.
I have heard of it actually. It's a dungeon crawler, right? Isometric top down.
Yeah. So it's basically Diablo.
Yep.
Basically took the Diablo formula, and like with Torchlight 1 and Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2 I prefer a little bit more. It just feels kind of more polished. Torchlight 1 was slightly buggy.
2008, 2009, right?
Yeah, it came out like a year or two before Diablo 3. So anyways, Torchlight 1 and 2 kind of filled this void where there was no Diablo, like between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3.
Right.
And it was at the point that Diablo 2 kind of aged too much to really be playable by anyone beyond the most hardcore Diablo players.
Right.
So yeah, it was just a game I had a lot of fun with. It had online multiplayer stuff too, and that was really fun to play with friends. Yeah, just an enjoyable experience.
What was the online multiplayer like? Was it just like
really similar to
co-op,
Diablo?
or?
Yeah, just co-op all in the same world.
Okay, I've never actually played co-op Diablo. Like one time couch co-op, but that was it.
Yep, very similar. Just
okay,
get together.
Okay, so
run
super grindy, super fun.
Yeah,
nice,
pretty awesome.
So now my number 99 is also a game you probably haven't heard of. Actually, it's Klonoa 2. Now I don't remember. I forget how to say this next part. Lunates Vale. Now this game, it sticks out in my mind because I didn't expect that I would get it, and it's kind of one of those things that like not really many people that I talk to even know what it is. So it's kind of one of those things that like this is mine. You know what I mean? Like this is my thing that not many other people ever talk about or think of as a good game, and it may not even be a very good game.
So what is it?
What is it? Basically, it's like a side-scrolling kind of platformer. It's a little more grand than that. It's like 2.5D, if you want to call it like that. And it has, if I remember correctly, there's like this spirit kind of thing that follows you around that you can use to interact with objects. But the reason why it's big on my list is I didn't expect the game at all because my mom, she went on like a trip to Toronto. And she, that's like the big city in Canada, or one of the bigger cities, exactly. And, you know, she came back. And she was like, hey, I know Nathan likes video games. Let's get this video game. And I was like, what the hell is this? This is stupid. Like, Mom, what are you doing? But I was like, oh, thanks. Like, this is awesome. So I put it in. I played it. And it was surprisingly good. Had a story that I don't remember much, but it just kind of stuck in my mind of like, wow, this game was surprisingly pretty good. Hadn't heard it at all before. And it was kind of that moment when I realized, like, I don't know. A game can still be a good game even though no one else is talking about it or it's kind of totally underhyped.
Yeah.
Like even if other people aren't playing it, it's still a good game. So I feel like that really influenced my decision to judge a game just based on its gameplay and not really give a shit about what other people say about it. As in just, well, if I think it's a good game, then it's a good game. So that's why it's on the list because it really influenced my mind in that kind of regard.
That's good enough.
Of just taking that approach with things. So yeah.
Cool. My number 98 is Super Mario Strikers for the Nintendo GameCube.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So I haven't played the sequel that came out on the Wii, so I don't know which is better, but I had a lot of good times with the Super Mario Strikers.
Yep.
It was the first of the like Mario sport games that I ever actually owned on my own. Like I'd played Mario Tennis or N64 like at friends' places, like a lot. And yeah, it is a great game. And Super Mario Strikers there's a lot of the same fun, great stuff in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was actually made by the people who made like NHL Hits and
oh, really?
Yeah, the Blitz football, I think. Yeah.
Aren't those like those silly games where you can get like monsters on your team?
Yeah,
and
it's the same kind of idea, but put with Mario characters, which just makes it awesome. There's like these over the top scoring opportunities, stuff like that. The computer's surprisingly good in that game for like the era. Yeah, okay. They're like less annoying than even computers in today's sport games. Yeah. So yeah, it was really awesome. I liked it.
Nice. I'm not a big fan of the Mario games, as you'll kind of see from this. There's not many Nintendo games on here, but I think they're good at making party type experiences like that. They're good at making fun.
A lot of fun games that you can just play whenever. That
being said, my number 98, Diddy Kong Racing, and I'm gonna preface this: there is no Mario Kart on my list.
This is Diddy Kong over Mario Kart.
Yes, exactly. This is, I'm going to say, one of the kart racers. No, it is the only kart racer.
The only kart racer on your list?
Yeah, I was lying into making you think that I put Crash Team Racing, but nah, I didn't. So anyway, Diddy Kong Racing. I remember it came out on the 64, and all my friends were like, I was like, man, this Diddy Kong Racing, it's awesome. And they're like, if you think that's good, you should really play Mario Kart. I was like, okay, so I tried it out. Didn't understand the difference in appeal because you can do so much more cool shit in Diddy Kong Racing. Yeah. I get that the characters are what makes Mario Kart awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit about the characters. They mean nothing to me, which people find really weird. But like, I don't know. I never liked many Mario games. It never resonated with me. Yeah. So the fact that the characters are the big sell in it, who cares? To me, at least.
Yeah. If you want to really compare Nintendo's design versus Rare's design in video games, I think Mario Kart versus Diddy Kong is a really good example because it shows like, you know, the gameplay mechanics and the scope and just the desire to kind of like do new things.
Yeah.
You know, that's all in Diddy Kong, whereas
Absolutely.
Mario Kart is significantly more simple and just kind of focused on the central fun aspect.
Well, Diddy Kong took an open approach with it, right? There was like a main hub world.
Yeah,
and you would drive around in levels.
And you can drive and fly and hoverboat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas with Mario Kart, it was, if I remember correctly, it was just menu based, and then you would get into the track, and then that'd be
races,
it. And yeah, there was only I think different CC options, so that means how fast your vehicle can go. But other than that, there was a lot less variety. I'm not gonna lie. Mario 64 is, sorry, I should say, Mario Kart 64 easily a tighter game.
Yeah.
But I think with the variety of options that they give you, it always stuck out in my mind as this is a way better game.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where I stand on that one. So that makes my number 98 spot.
Cool. So my number 97 is probably a game that many people would yell at me for putting this low.
Oh shit.
The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Never played it.
Yeah, it's so it is. I will say this: it is my favorite 2D Zelda game. And yeah, so
that says a lot what you think about 2D Zelda games.
Yeah, you get how I feel about 2D Zelda games. It's really good. I feel like, you know, some parts of it I really don't like, and they really just don't hold up with how games are designed today.
Yeah,
namely how you have to like enter a castle or your first dungeon by cutting down a bush, I think, and then going in a hole.
Yeah.
And there's like so little hints about doing that. And, you know, people found it cool back then and, you know, made them discuss the game more and that kind of stuff. But, like, it feels weird to play now. Like, it's not good design. Like, there's so many players that'll just run into a brick wall there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like, the items, the dungeon design, and, like, the whole bunch of other stuff in that game's, like, really, really tight. It's also kind of nice because the dungeon design's a little bit different than the current games because, you get the big key to unlock the item instead of the boss room.
Yeah.
So it is kind of this different flow. So it can be a little bit refreshing if like you're used to current Zelda games.
But something that I guess surprises me about it being this low on your list is that one of the games that I know is one of your favorites, Dark Souls, I feel is heavily inspired by something like A Link to the Past.
Yes, in some degrees. I mean, like, some of the point of Dark Souls is to not revolve around the character.
Yeah.
And Legend of Zelda is pretty much the epitome of the world revolving around Link.
Yeah.
So
Link is a big character in there? I thought Link was kind of a nobody and that he was just the guy doing the things and that Zelda was the important one. Is that
No, totally Zelda's kind of less especially since Ocarina of Time, I think especially made the shift, but yeah, Link is like a prophesized hero that comes around every time that Ganon comes to power.
I've only played one Zelda game, so
more or less. So that's kind of how the story goes now. So
I thought he was just John Doe.
Nope, he is the hero of time, as they say in a lot of games, or I don't know what to call him. The other stuff.
Okay,
hero of the winds, random shit like that, just to fit whatever.
Well, there we go.
Main item they have in that game.
Anyway, so my number 97, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I like this game. Did you see this game? It was definitely not a Metal Gear game.
I have seen it. I haven't played it, but yeah, I hear a lot of people like it because of what it did, and like that there was no issues with it being different from the regular Metal Gear. Which usually you see that kind of backlash if people change what they're doing with the franchise name.
I mean, it wasn't what they initially set out to be, where it was going to be you could cut everything and whatever. But I think Platinum Games did a great job of just making a kind of dumb, kind of just fun action game where you could just, hack and slash stuff up and get in there and just get some really ridiculous cinematics I remember one of the first cinematics where I was just like, this is Japan in a game.
Yeah.
Because like a bunch of missiles get shot at him and he's running up the missiles and he's going out slicing stuff in half and just absolutely ridiculous over the top action.
Yeah. Metal Gear has like always kind of been like a Japanese take on Western action and like spy stealth stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of funny that with Revengeance they just
you get this badass cyborg ninja it's pretty cool. Like I had a lot of fun with it. It's kind of a stupid game, but it's just the controls were tight and it was just stupid fun.
Yeah.
Best way I can describe that. Okay, what you got, Kev?
My number 96 is Rogue Legacy.
Nice.
Yeah, so I played that one on PC because I think it did come to consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's another one of those games. I think there's quite a lot of them that are just easy to pick them up and play them and, whatever. Rogue Legacy, my first impression of it was kind of like, eh. But then, like, my girlfriend at the time played it for, like, an entire day that I was, like, at work for. And I'm like, oh, maybe there is something more to this game. So
yeah,
I went back and actually put a good amount of time into it and, like, started unlocking stuff and making progress and starting to get better in the castle. And, like, a little while later, started getting to the other levels and stuff. So Rogue Legacy it's actually really cool for kind of how it works. So you have your character who starts off with randomized traits. And he goes in this old castle that has a brand new layout.
Yeah.
Just some kind of magic that changes the layout each time you go into it. So you go in and you just try to make it as fair as possible. Eventually you die to whatever. And then basically the next character you get is a descendant of that character with new randomized traits. And some of the randomized traits are really funny. Like there's color blindness, so your screen will be black and white.
There's some ridiculous stuff.
There's like upside down.
There's gay that I think has no effect.
Yeah,
it's one of the things.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of funny stuff.
Yeah,
and so it's just entertaining for that aspect.
Yeah,
along with being it's a really tight game.
Very tight
in general. I think the only complaint is the whenever you're jumping in the air and you
down attack sucks.
Down attack
sucks.
Yeah,
it has a
not
time
as tight
to it.
As it should be.
Yeah, it should stay going down, but it's like it has
timed and
exactly.
You have to use
frames.
it a lot for platforms and stuff, so it's a little annoying that way.
Yeah, I wish they just did it like the old oh my god, DuckTales games with the pogo attack, right? Where it was just it constantly went down. That was great. That was I think a better way to implement it, but still really good game. Now my number 96 is okay. Now I'm gonna let you know. This is my only Call of Duty game on the list. What do you think it's gonna be?
I hope that it's Modern Warfare, but I would not be surprised if it's COD 2 or 3.
It is Call of Duty 3, and I will admit, I think I like Call of Duty 4 more.
Yeah.
But I didn't have many experiences with it. I played a little bit of it. Call of Duty 3 is on here because I distinctly remember this. I was friends with some stupid people back in junior high or whatever, but they were my friends. We had a good time. And we hung out at Nick. I think you met him a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hung out at his house and we played that so fucking long. So we set off like this Dragon Force playlist, which is like the epitome of nerdy music. And anyway, we're just listening to that. And we're like, let's just play for like an hour and we'll be good. And we played like, it was domination against each other, just screwing around.
Yeah.
We played for 8 hours. We didn't even realize the playlist ended. Nick's like, that's an 8-hour playlist. We're like, oh my God. So yeah, we just spent all night playing it. I played a bunch of other times with like, I don't know. That was just one of those games that I think my uncle gave it to me when I got my Xbox 360. And he was like, hey, here's some games that I don't play anymore.
I remember when I got my Xbox 360, I didn't get many games with it.
Yeah.
And I got kind of like bored of like playing games. So I got the demo for it. I actually played through like the demo campaign that was in it a number of times because it was just tight and fun.
Call of Duty 3 is, I think, an underrated game. I think Call of Duty 4 gets a lot of the...
It's in the shadow of Call of Duty 4.
Yeah, exactly. But Call of Duty 3, really tight
Still good,
game.
yeah.
Really
Still quite good.
So what's your 95, Kev?
My 95 is Team Fortress 2.
Oh, wow.
Probably one of the most played games of all the games on Steam. In general.
Free,
it's definitely really, really high up for me in my like playtime count. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. It's really good tight gameplay. It's really easy to just play it with friends because, they have it. If they have Steam, you can just play it with friends.
Wait, did you mean it's the most played in your Steam? Like the most game play game you've played on Steam? Okay.
Not mine, just in general.
Okay, gotcha.
It's probably in my top 4 or 5 on Steam.
Okay.
Because I have sunk like quite a bit into it, but...
I assume number 1's Dark Souls. Probably.
Yes, probably Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my experience with TF2. Put it at 95.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
My number 95 is Tony Hawk American Wasteland. I like this game. A lot of people didn't.
It's a good game.
But I thought it was good. I liked the open world. The fact that there were no loading screens was awesome. You could do so much stuff in it. I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had a killer soundtrack. It had like some Mastodon in there, some Green Day, both things that I liked at the time and still like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I didn't like about it was super angsty, maybe too angsty.
Yeah.
But I was an angsty ass kid who was wearing I wore the leather. Okay, now you may not believe this, but I wore the leather bracelet with the spikes out of it. Yeah. Yeah, I did, hilarious. And I may have painted my nails black a couple times. I was one of those kids for a good while. Not nice. A goth kid, I wouldn't say, but a metal
kid, yeah.
Iron Maiden man. So yeah,
I was kind of into the skater stuff.
Yeah,
bought Airwalk and all those other skater brands.
Yep, all the brands of the skaters.
Yep.
So what's funny though? All those kids back then, they had skate shoes. None of them could skate.
I know.
It was maybe 2%.
I tried skateboarding for a couple months. And
I was real bad
at it. I just can't do it.
I was real bad. Actually,
I could ollie. That was it. It was a shitty ollie.
You know what I did to make myself feel like I was better at skateboarding? I put elastic bands around the skateboard and stuck it to my feet. Felt like a badass, except hilarious. When you have to take a bail. Yeah. Because then you cannot land properly at all. But I was really bad at skateboarding, if you couldn't tell. So now, what's your 94, Kev?
My number 94 is Game Dev Tycoon.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
It's quite a fun little game. I don't think I have super many of these games on my list that are kind of just PC games that you can just kind of pick up and play. Just really short sessions, just whenever.
Yep.
I'm not even sure if that's how Game Dev Tycoon's meant to be played, but that's how I play it anyways.
Yeah.
I'll just go through just a short amount of time. I'm okay with kind of dropping my company and bringing it back up and stuff. But yeah, I really quite enjoyed it a lot. It's kind of fun, all the random things that can come to you. And I don't know, I think I enjoyed my first experience of it way more than anything else. Because then you get to learn all the things that they're kind of parroting.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. Their E3 parody, which I think is called E4 or something.
G3, I think. Yeah.
G3?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just a lot of good funny moments. And I don't know, the game makes you feel good for making a good game, although it's a little bit...
super formulaic.
A little bit formulaic, yeah.
I wonder how many times have you played through it? I probably beat it about 8 times. So
I don't think I've beat it yet, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely have the formula down, and it may be on my list later. So I'll just talk more about it then.
That's good.
So now my number 94 is The Witcher 3. Ooh. Arguably, probably on a technical level, the best RPG I think I've played.
Open world RPG.
Exactly. The best open world RPG I think I've played on a technical level like that. I'm not including Dark Souls because I don't. It's Dark Souls is its own beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, The Witcher 3 is so good.
It
has such a dense
I just really hope it makes Bethesda step up.
And that's the thing. I mean, Bethesda was that company that was on top with that open world RPG game.
Yeah.
And people were like, yeah, it kind of runs like trash, but it's okay because it's a Bethesda game. They're the ones that set the bar. And CD Projekt Red comes out swinging their dick going, yeah, well, we're going to do this, and it's going to run great.
Yeah, they made a huge world, and
they did.
None of those crazy shitty bugs that Elder Scroll games are plagued with.
And then you have something like Fallout 4 that comes out that it kind of... I think it embarrassed them. It should have embarrassed them at least.
It's the only game I've played in the last year that's crashed on me.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's embarrassing now.
Yeah.
When no one else could achieve that level of just denseness and massive world. It's okay, I get it that you have some technical hiccups, but when you have CD Projekt Red doing it and then you can't and you're known as the Titan for it, that should be embarrassing. And I hope it embarrassed them so that we get a better product moving forward. And
yeah, definitely.
It's great to have some competition like that because you had Bethesda sitting on top for so long that it's really good for CD Projekt Red to come in and kind of sweep the rug out from underneath them.
Yep.
So definitely makes my number 94 spot.
93 for me.
Yep.
Is Walking Dead Season 2 by Telltale.
Mine's number 93 too for Walking Dead Season 2.
Nice.
Good game, man. Good game.
Yeah, Season 2 is really, really good. I think... Yeah, I have Season 1 higher up here on my list. But yeah, I enjoyed Season 2 quite a good amount. I think, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I think the most memorable part for me from the game, at least, is when you enter the city and they have, bodies just up on spikes.
Okay.
Just kind of cornering off like that, I don't know what you call them, a gang, groups.
Yep.
Kind of area and stuff. And, I was like, oh, crap. And then, yeah, I felt like there was kind of a few more kind of canned moments in the game, like a little less believable, less relatable than season 1. But I don't know, still really enjoyed it. Good story.
Yeah, it's some good twists and turns in it. It's just a good game in general. I mean, it's kind of that Telltale thing, and it kind of actually ties into what we were just talking about, how you have Telltale, who's right now kind of the titans of adventure games in this genre, and they're buggy as shit.
Yeah.
So we really need someone else to step up and kind of call them out on it. But really good game. Definitely doesn't even touch season 1 in my eyes, but still good.
Yeah.
It's basically season 1 was so good, that's why this one got included. For me, basically, because I was so attached to
I think a lot of the setup for this game really made it a lot better.
Oh, exactly. The game itself was fine. It had some, like you said, some canned moments and some turns that were clunky at best, but it was good. I liked the variable options that you could get, and the diversity in the options that you can get at the end is pretty massive. So I'm really excited to see what they decide to do with season 3.
Eventually.
Yeah. Whenever that comes. You know what? They'll probably announce it like a week before, and then it'll just pop out, because that's what they do. So now, what's your number 92, Kev?
Yeah. So my number 92 is Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which actually, interestingly, technically doesn't have the Need for Speed in the official title for it. Anyways, so the Shift games are part of the like Need for Speed franchise that were supposed to be kind of more geared towards a little more serious gameplay.
Yep.
So yeah, there's actually some really, really fun kind of building up cars, going through leagues. It has some of the tightest like racer gameplay of the Need for Speed games. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of good car customization. I like the cars they included. Customization, it's not like Underground 2 kind of customization where it's unrealistic. It's much more like internals focused and small amount of external stuff.
So now, Shift 2, if you can jog my memory, when did that come out? Did it come out before Underground 2 or after?
No, Shift 2 it's a little more recent.
Is it? I've never
recent in like early.
But I don't pay too close attention to the racing scene.
It would have come out probably 2012 or 13.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it is significantly more recent than.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Stuff,
okay.
Yeah, it's really tight. It's a really, really pretty game too. That's the nice thing about racing games; they always end up being pretty because they can cheat. They're
pretty much all pretty. I mean, I think Project Cars isn't that pretty in comparison to the other games that came out at the time. But it is like a super realistic game, and it's pretty good. But yeah, okay, Shift 2. Maybe I should check it out.
What you got for 92?
My number 92 is Spider-Man 2. Classic, super classic.
Nice.
It has some big boss fights. And wait, is it your 92 as well?
Nope.
Oh no, you're 91.
No.
Okay.
It's on here somewhere.
Okay. So anyway,
not today.
not today. So that's fine. Yeah, classic game. It has some bad boss fights.
Yeah.
You know, the Electro fight. All the power levels, one punch.
They're all quick.
Super
Which is
quick.
Nice because you just want to get to the open world part because that was the best part of Spider-Man 2.
It is the best part of Spider-Man 2. You're swinging around, you're going on your webs, you get your extra web powers. It's one of those games that the best part was getting there.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of games, it's like, okay, I just want to get to the place to do the action. But in this one, traversal is the best part of this game.
I just liked encountering like random mobs of enemies,
beating
them up, saving an
and
old
then
lady.
The combat was pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah, so no, classic game. Spent a lot of hours just swinging through the streets of New York, just having some fun.
Yep.
What you got, Kev?
My number 91 is the lowest Halo game that's on my list.
Okay.
It's Halo Reach.
Oh, okay.
Which means Halo 4 and 5 got canned, and I didn't even consider Master Chief Collection because it's
broken.
It's basically it was super broken at launch. It kind of works now, but like it's just the other games. There's nothing new there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Halo Reach is the lowest. This is when they introduced sprinting.
Yep.
Which sucks. They put bloom on a bunch of the weapons, which makes your shots more accurate if you're firing quickly. That sucked. So I'm rating the game on the like post 343 Industries fix, where they kind of got rid of the bloom and a whole bunch of the other bad things. Yeah. So it became much more competitive, and my friend Brody and I probably put good few hundred hours into the game.
Holy shit.
Played a lot. I did a lot of playing around in the Forge mode in it because it had like a really good kind of like level building mode that started making things nicer then.
I've always wondered this about you. So now with regards to Forge mode, is that something that really pushed your mind towards I want to do game design? Because my guess would be yes, but maybe not.
I think I was already kind of set on it.
Yeah, and then that just solidified it?
It is just kind of like a natural interest, so it's not like, something just kind of like sparked the interest in me. It's just like, oh yeah, this is a creative thing that lets me practice level design, so I'm going to do it.
Right.
Not so much that I was thinking about practicing it for career purposes, but it's just I enjoyed it, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's Forge been for me. It was a huge part of Halo Reach for me, and of course all the custom game types. If any of you guys have played Reach, you probably know there is some fun-ass custom game types. I think some of my favorite were kind of like the obstacle course ones. Or there's this other one where you're you're just trying to get up this hill, but there's just vehicles hurtling down it at insane speeds, and like you'll just randomly get like destroyed by a vehicle. And yeah, I think there's some form of game in there. I forget how you win, but yeah, it's really, really, really fun.
Okay.
A lot of good memories from it, but
I've never played it.
But the lowest of the Halo games I have on here.
So the worst of the Halo games. They made it on the list.
Yeah.
Now, just out of curiosity, where would you rank 4 over 5?
I would rank 5 over 4.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Really not a big fan of 4.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad?
Yeah. 5 like just barely didn't really make it on the list. I think it probably would have ended up like 110, 120.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So now my number 91, this may be a surprising game because I talk about how it's a good game. Because I think other people think it's a really good game. It didn't resonate for me. It's one of those games that I'll show it to people because I know it resonates with people, but it didn't resonate with me. And that's Journey.
Journey.
Yeah.
Beautiful game.
It is a beautiful game, and I accept that. I think I went in with too high expectations, and it's fine. It didn't stick with me at all. There's definitely there's actually another That Company game that is way higher on my list.
Yeah.
That I liked way more.
And gets way less attention.
Yes, I think so. We'll get into that game when we get there. Yeah. But Journey is a good game. Extra Credits went over a video of this where it just beat for beat follows the hero's tale, which I think is a good thing to do. I mean, the first Star Wars movie did that. And the remake
it's especially important because it has no dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
So, them kind of doing kind of more simple, or a story that people know a little bit better when doing it much more abstractly is really, really good call.
Exactly, because it's one of those things, like, it's a story that you know, but you haven't seen it this way before.
No.
Exactly, because, it's a beautiful game.
So
pretty. Those moments when it has some epic highs.
Yeah.
When you just feel like awesome and you're flying through and there's the sand and you're coming down and everything's looking beautiful and you're going through this tunnel. Do you know exactly the scene I'm talking about? And you're just like, the music's fluttering and it's a really nice. Or then when you beat the game or you're coming towards the end and you got this big massive like curtain tail and you're coming through and everything's epic and that just came right before you thought you were gonna die and on that snowy mountain. Like it's really good. It didn't click with me, but I can see why someone would rank that really high on their list.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a really good game. It is higher up on my list, and I'll have a lot to say about it then.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was your 91. So
perfect.
Yeah, we got through 100 to 91. Next episode, we'll do 90 to 81.
Exactly. And further on the episodes, we're going to be doing it near the end of the episode. I'd like to kind of cap them off. We just decided to do the first one just at the beginning, just to let you guys know what's up. So there's still going to be a full episode. We still intend to hit around the 120-minute mark, 110-minute mark.
Yep.
I think that's a good point to hit. Now, Kev, I got some stuff I want to talk about. But first, we got to get our housekeeping out of the way. What have you been playing, man?
Have I played anything since the last podcast recording?
Yes, you have. Today. Rains, dude.
Rains. Right, yes. So, today is actually the day that we're recording this. Is Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It's weird that we have different Thanksgivings in the States.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that.
We have a more sensical one because it's not right by Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, I went over to my mom's place for Thanksgiving. My brother was like, "Hey, have you played this game? It's a little phone game called Rains."
Yep.
And I checked it out. It's like cheap $4 purchase on mobile, which we'll have more to say about in a bit. But first, to talk about the game, it's just kind of like really cool thing where like you're you're a king of like a kingdom, and it is very kind of like Dark Ages English king type thing. And yeah, you just have basically people come up to you and with like requests, and you just give them like kind of yes no answers, or like you kind of decide like one of two options which to do, and they do it really cool. It's just like a swipe left swipe right thing, just kind of like Tinder.
Yeah. And okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not entirely sure the implications that you're going to have. I noticed that it shows the little dots over the icons, but you don't know if it's going to be positive or negative.
So basically you have these 4 resources, and you're trying to like kind of balance them, make sure none of them get too low or too high.
Yeah.
And it'll show you which ones are implicated by decisions, but it won't show you whether it's positive or negative, or like how much. And just a little spoiler, there's like an item in the game you can get that will show you exactly.
Oh, there are obtainable items in the game. Okay, and do they carry on to further playthroughs?
Some of them carry on. Like some of them are tied to like the township. Some of them are tied to that king.
Okay.
So cool. There's kind of like items you can pick up, which kind of just change how you interact with the game and stuff. Can save you from certain bad situations, give you more information, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so it's really cool and surprisingly complex.
I noticed something too, where I've only actually played 2 rounds of the game. You've probably played 10 now, or
yeah, probably between like 15 and 20.
Yeah. Oh, so you played
it's really easy to like really fire through a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Of them.
So I only played a bit, but I noticed something. I got like a magic healer or whatever, something, a doctor in my ranks, and it was like new cards are added to the deck. What does that mean? Does that just mean there's more options available?
Yeah, more stuff will come up.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, super cool game. It does what I like. I think probably one of my favorite things about Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't know if you got far enough into the game to get to that part, but there's a part.
Not get very far.
Just past the 10-hour mark is when you get into the meat of the game, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's on my list. And anyway, it's cool because there's these like side missions where you just have to sit in your throne and people come to you and plead their cases regarding things, and you have to make a yes or no decision and see what kind of ramifications that has in your castle. And this really takes that and condenses it into this. That's the whole game. That's, these actions of yes or no, and you're not entirely sure what type of result something's going to have. And it's for right now, it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I wonder how it'll feel after 100 plays. I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine it could get old for like. Yeah, for now I'm still like kind of picking up things. There's an overarching story plot actually.
Okay.
And there's like a few things that you can kind of like, they're kind of like memorization things. Like there's a dungeon that you kind of have to just memorize to pass it through, and you only really learn it just by going in and dying.
Wow, this game gets way deeper than I thought.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty deep and complex. Like yeah, it'll definitely have a good amount of replayability. Of course that will be limited because the designers cannot come up with an infinite amount of things. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably, I imagine it's going to last like a full playing time of maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, I would think, which is more than enough for a $4 game.
Yeah. I'd actually probably put it like 4 or 6 hours.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's great. So now you said you were going to get into the pricing of this type of game because let's get into it.
So this is kind of something Nathan and I were kind of talking about just before the podcast, and we're like, wait, this is getting interesting. It's just kind of this like mentality thing for like kind of pricing, and like, if I had just stumbled upon this in the App Store, I would have seen, $4.
No way.
No.
Yep.
But because I had my brother like today earlier saying like, oh yeah, it's worth it. I'm like, yeah, sure. It's just $4. Right. And there's that kind of mentality change between, if you know something will be good and worth the money or not, that like completely switches my opinion of like paying for mobile games.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's just simply because there's not many reviewers for mobile games. There's no way that you're getting comprehensive reviews.
Well, and there can't be enough reviewers. And the thing about a reviewer is it has to come from a place that you trust. Maybe there is someone reviewing the game, but if you don't know anything else they like, or you don't have any background there, then you can't really take that review. You know what I mean?
there is like the App Store reviews, but like
they're shit.
Every
my game
pretty
is
much
a 5-star review. You know what I mean?
Pretty much everything just ends up between like 4.6 and 4.3.
Yeah.
Or you see other things at 3.8 if they pissed off their user base recently.
Yeah, and it's kind of silly. It's kind of really silly. But
they're pretty much useless, so.
Yeah, I mean, but there's so many games coming out in it that there can't be comprehensive reviews.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, so it's a mess of a market in that sense. Like, there's just so much stuff on there. I don't know how you'd control something like that. I mean, we've talked about that in the past. I don't know how you control something like that, but I think that's a big part of the reason why those consumers don't, on average, like 99% of them don't want to pay for shit.
Yep.
At all. And they think it's ridiculous when you ask them to pay for something.
They're used to, well, there's a lot of being used to free stuff.
Yep.
And also just, a lot of unfamiliarity with like kind of cool experiences like Reigns or Lifeline's another, mobile game that I've enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
That like charges up front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just, I think it's when you get into those more, not interesting experiences, but more creative experiences when it's okay to pay for something like that. But when you have a game that's kind of just a clone of a genre that well, then people get pissed off when you want them to pay for something like that. But when you're introducing something that's maybe not necessarily a new genre, but something that's way more experimental and way less mainstream, I think you can get away with charging people for it because it's still that nebulous thing of like, well, I don't know what this is going to be like. It's kind of the same nebulous of having to pay for a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, it's a lot of the reason we see...
If that sentence made sense at all.
We see, like, free versions and demos,
yeah,
like, put up on the App Store. But the problem is, like, it's not built for that properly. Like, it's either they have to set up this in-app purchase, which, if you're doing 0 in-app purchases or 1 app purchase... is like, that's a big gap from the development standpoint.
Yes.
Of like how much work you have to put in.
Oh my God. Yes.
So, what most people will do is they'll make a different version of the game that it put up on the App Store, which is then, it's like almost completely unrelated then from the eyes of the App Store user. Because like they're two separate things, and like I don't know, maybe your demo rate high, but like where is that link to the full version? Like they have to kind of put that in kind of very manually, and it's just not nicely done. Like I imagine if the App Store did something that kind of like helps that kind of be a more easy thing.
Yeah,
and I think from the App Store, from their perspective, it's just like, we'll just do an in-app purchase. Like they don't care about the extra effort that takes.
It requires like way more effort than I thought it would be, and I feel like this will really parlay into the next thing, which is okay. So normally we say what I'm playing, and I haven't been playing anything because I've been so busy working on an app, for a company, and it's like kind of a simple thing, but I feel like I put a decent amount of work into it, and I've so I put a lot of work into it, and I was looking at it, putting in app purchases stuff, and like. That would like triple my workload, dude. Yeah. It's so much effort just to put that kind of stuff in.
It's big overhead to do it.
Yeah, or even like banner ads. Massive pain in the ass.
Yep.
Like there are Unity ads and things like that, but there are ads that come up on splash screens. They're not banner ads. I feel those are way too intrusive, especially for the type of service that this app is providing.
Yeah.
It really it doesn't seem beneficial at all. But yeah. So I've been working on an app.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I'm actually like charging them for it and everything like that. So I tried to put together like an invoice and everything. And like, man, it's weird to like charge someone for something. I gave them a stupid cheap price, but like, well, I think it's a cheap price. I paid myself like, I don't know, probably like $4 an hour at that price.
Yeah, it is kind of like a personal interest thing for you as well, though, because it's a company you have relations with, and you're kind of
exactly
tied to.
Yeah, it is, and it's certainly been a lot of fun. And something else I've been doing to kind of offset that with a little more creativity is I've been making a side game. I don't even know if I'm going to put it out, but I'll pitch it to you here because this is literally the only thing I've been playing.
I feel like we should at least put it up for like private download for viewers, if they want.
Because I think it's gonna be fun. Where can you post something like that? Like,
you could probably just put it up on Google Drive, publicly share it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
As long as it's nothing too big.
Yeah, okay, so I'll sell you on it. I don't have an elevator pitch. I should, but it's not that far along yet. Basically,
come up with it now.
Okay, I'll come up with it now. So let me take a sip of my beer. Vamp.
Guzzle, 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 guzzle.
That's not what vamp means.
That's way better than vamping. I was giving them extra audio.
Yeah, so that they can hear that.
I just need to help them visualize.
They can really picture me drinking my beer.
Yep.
Anyway, it's actually a Mill Street Organic. Delicious.
Yeah, very Canadian beer.
Very good. Become probably one of my favorites right now. Anyway, so that's beside the point. So, elevator pitch. You wake up after a hangover and you got a lot of shit to do. And you have to get to the fast food spot to cure your hangover. The greasy fast food is what you need. But little did you know, you painted the town red last night. Let me tell you what. So it starts off, you're like, oh my God, what the hell did I do last night? Your girlfriend calls you. She's like, where the fuck are you? You got to find shit for her. You got to get stuff done. It shows you the city. There is like things on fire. There's massive piles of garbage can. There's buses flipped over. There's a giant maze that you created to keep the hobos out. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. It's foolish. You crashed your car into a fountain.
Just wrecked the city.
You wrecked the gosh dang city. So you need to clean this stuff up. You need to fix it. So you need to go around and fix all this stuff in the city that I've created. And that's the game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. There's going to be silly things like you have to pee out a fire. And I'm looking into making a mechanic that if you pick up water, it'll make you less drunk. But that looks like a lot of work. So maybe I won't do that. Maybe it will.
Yeah.
But
it's a bit of a narrative experience, right?
Exactly. It's more of a narrative experience. It's kind of a lot of VO, a lot of your character talking, a lot of goofiness, and just it's going to be ridiculous fun. I have pretty much all the world built at this point. I'm just putting the stuff in there, and then you have to actually make the game. But I'm building the world for the game.
Target for like how long a playthrough would take?
I don't know. Probably like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I figure, if you're just playing through just to get the story and get done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But like, I could pad it out by making you have to run back and forth, but like that doesn't sound like fun. And honestly,
these 20 things.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that sounds like a great time. But I don't know. I'm just doing it basically to kind of keep myself prepped and to just to be able to make games and just to practice. And I'm really wanting to practice a lot right now because I'm going in a game jam.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
Little October weekend-long game jam.
Which one is it? Ludum Dare? Is that what it's called?
No. Itch. H-I-O.
Yeah, Itch.
Game jam.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So what is a game jam for those who don't know?
Hopefully I'll be able to join as well. But So what a game jam is it's a challenge to developers to make a game in a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's all there really is needed to require something to call a game jam. But a few common rules for game jams is you don't know the theme until the game jam starts.
So that you can't cheat. Working it beforehand.
Yeah, your team size is limited. You can't work on it beforehand. That kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it's purely you're making it over that weekend. Some of them are like require you to release the source for the game and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think for this one we'll find out the topic the first day, and then we'll
I think with this one we have like maybe 3 days.
Yeah, so it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like a little bit into Monday. Kind of I think it's more like kind of like if we stayed up real late.
Yeah, I think I work a lot of that, but frig it. I'm gonna go to work obviously, but I will just put as much work as I can into the game and try and make something fun. I think it's going to be a good experience. And one of those things of like, if you publish a game, you can still put it on your resume.
Yeah. Just make something.
Just make something. Yeah, exactly.
It's the biggest thing.
And that's the biggest thing with a lot of these creative endeavors. Like with something like YouTube, like I talked for years about how, I could do this or I could do this. But if you're not doing it, then you're not doing shit.
Yeah. You're not learning anything.
Exactly. The fact that like we started and when we started, we sucked and we still kind of suck. Let's be real. But the fact that I'm now able to do projects that are pretty cool and something that like I'm going to brag about this. Like the premier. So that's basically the leader of our province saw a video project I made that it can't go on YouTube for confidential reasons. But, and he was like, holy shit, this is really good. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. And so I'm starting to get into more serious things like that and trying, and if I can get time, try and parlay that into more freelance stuff, but just do shit.
Yeah.
Just if you like something, do it, and eventually someone will pay you for it.
Yeah.
Which sounds insane, but
I don't know. A lot of it's just, have something to show for. Like,
yeah.
You have to, if you want to like work at something for people, you have to convince those people you can do the job.
Exactly.
What's an easier way to convince people with nothing to show or with a lot of stuff to show?
Exactly. You have shit to show, and then you can sell yourself by that point, and your work will sell you, basically. So, yeah, just do shit. So I'm really excited to do the game jam.
Yep.
Really excited for that. I would like
That's
to do some more, and I'm then, after the game jam, I intend to switch to Unreal. So if you've listened to me a little bit, and you know, exactly, and you know a little bit about engines, I've been using Unity. So if you're not familiar with Unity, what is Unity, Kev? What's the best way to describe this? For the longest time, it was like the indie engine, kind of.
Yeah, and to an extent, it still kind of is the indie engine, except for like mobile purposes. It's much more popular mobile.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a free game engine. Anyone can download it, start using it. Uses the C# programming language to kind of do the scripting for its game. It's a rather complete game engine. Has a bunch of neat features. It has an asset store, which is probably one of actually the best selling points.
The best part of it.
That is not brought up very often. You can get a lot of free stuff there.
So much.
For very small amounts of money, you can get some really good stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, it just helps you make games.
Yeah, exactly. And I intend to switch over to Unreal Engine. And Unreal Engine is one of those things of like, that's a big boy engine.
Yeah, it's
like,
Epic Games engine. It's made for real games.
Like real big games. Like a lot of games that are on our top 100 list. Like,
yep,
those are big boy games. And not that that Unity games aren't, but like AAA games are made on Unreal Engine.
Yep.
I haven't seen a AAA game made on Unity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
not even Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really dumb joke. But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to get started on it because I feel at the very least I should switch over to something like that because it actually will transfer better to a real life job that I would probably want to get, and at least I know how Unity works.
Yeah. Just to some extent, they both use a lot of patterns that are just used all game engines nowadays. Yeah. It's the whole kind of component idea. Because
right now, my dream job or something that I'm trying to shoot for is basically become a producer of in a small studio.
Yeah,
and ideally a small studio would be something I would want to go for.
Got to get your foot in the door, so go for any studio.
Yes, for anything that would take me, because
you can have long-term aspirations. But.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's what I kind of want to go for. So switching engines, I think, will be beneficial for me, and it honestly seees better.
Yeah, I like Unreal Engine 4 more of the two of them, and it's also got kind of this nicer thing. So C# is, it's a full programming language. It's kind of a nice programming language. It's kind of very similar to Java. But it kind of exists in that weird spot where it's, just like Java, it's easier to use as far as programming languages go, but it's also not quite powerful like, C and C++.
Okay.
So it's kind of in this weird interim
with regards to the power of it. I don't understand what you mean.
It's about flexibility.
Okay.
How kind of low level you can go. So,
right.
For example, like in C++, whenever you are making like just a piece of data, you can choose, hey, I want this to be a 8-bit number, and I can choose whether it's signed or unsigned, which basically just means, are we caring about positive, negative things, or do we just want the positive parts?
Okay.
C++, you define that. You don't have, more or less, you don't have that choice in C# or Java without kind of like going outside of the bounds of like just the minimal spec of the language.
Right. For any of you that have that going over their head right now, it's happening to me too. So don't worry about it. You can still make games and not know that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can actually do that better in Unreal.
So that's what I was getting at is C# that Unity uses is kind of in that middle grounds where it's like you kind of have to get into programming a little bit, but you don't need to get like really into it. Right. So it's in that weird middle grounds. Whereas Unreal, what they did instead is they kind of went like went for like a 2-branch approach.
Yeah.
So there is C++ that you can code in. So
you can go deep on the coding.
Yeah, C++, that's, the universal coding language of games until what's his face from Braid? Jonathan Blow gets.
You think he's going to make a universal coding language?
His language is way better for games programming. The C++.
But do you think it's actually going to take over games like that?
We'll see. It very very realistically could. It's really not that difficult to switch from one to the other, which is kind of one of the things he's focusing on. But it's really cool. But that is another topic. Anyways, Unreal Engine 4, C++, if you're really hardcore into programming, want to do programming. However, if you're kind of just want to make games, just need some kind of simple logic, just need to make stuff happen, they have what they call the blueprint system. And that is incredibly visual. Yeah. You just right-click, select from a list of what you want to happen. Like, hey, I want to move an actor. They're basic game objects they call actors. Yep. I want to move this actor to a different location. So you say set actor location. Then it just pops up this box. And then you're like, okay, so I need a location. So you just make a location thing, and you just drag and drop those numbers you put into the location thing there.
And then just like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of connecting little things. And it's this very kind of visual blueprint type thing. And, it does take a little bit of learning, and it still kind of requires a little bit of logical thinking.
Right. Yeah.
It's only so far away you can get from logical thinking when you're dealing with a computer program that does a video game, which is inherently a system. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Unreal Engine's a lot nicer in that region because it has Blueprint, which is targeted at easy to use things, and C++, which is targeted at, really technical.
And not to mention the fact Unreal's the pretty engine.
Oh, it looks so good.
Pretty.
Yeah, it comes with a lot of really great pretty stuff. It makes it really easy for you to make something pretty. Yeah. It also has an asset store, which has an okay amount of stuff in it, not as much as Unity. But most Unity things can be brought into it anyway. So.
Exactly. You can just import something else and you're good. Yeah, so it certainly seems it's very intimidating. And I think that's a big part of the reason why a lot of indies don't use it, because they're scared of it, just like me.
It's intimidating because it's a real engine. And like you can mess stuff up. They give you the controls to really change around the lighting and messing with a lot of that stuff. They give you controls to like build geometry and stuff. Yeah. It is a breakable thing, more so than Unity. Yeah. But at least when it breaks, it is incredibly sensible once you figure it out why it broke. Unity, not so much. You can just kind of break and just be like, what the fuck? Yeah. You just close Unity, open it up again, and it's fine. What?
Yeah, I've had a lot of issues like that.
Yeah.
Where it will just, oh man, I was making this like first person, just prototyping something just because I feel like that's a good thing to do. Keep yourself creative at least. And I was just making like a first person Sonic game is the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
And, everything just broke one day, and I have no idea what happened.
You put in like a different skybox or something?
Yeah, I put in a different skybox, and then everything broke. My scripts were all fucked. It took a long time of me being like, Kevin, how do I fix this? To be able to fix it, and that was the moment I was like, okay, I'm going to have to switch engines soon here because this is stupid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's still that kind of stuff that you'll get with Unreal as well. That kind of stuff can just happen.
Yeah.
Generally, I think something else must have happened that I still maybe can't figure out what happened, because usually something won't just switch just because.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that was, wow, we've had a really technical episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really technical. We're not at the end yet.
Barry got into game making stuff.
Yeah, the game making. But we started off a little more general. Now I want to get into something here, Kev. I like ending episodes on rants. And oh my gosh, I have a rant. So now, if you have been living under a rock, which, if you live under a rock, that's fine. You probably don't pay much for heat or electricity. Sounds like a good system, to be honest.
Probably a little cold and wet, but it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, there's the American election going on.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And there was a debate last night. Last night was Sunday night.
Yeah.
Did you see this, Kev?
I was watching it. Yep.
Yep. Yeah,
there's a lot of emotions that kind of came up through it.
It was like the most awkward thing ever. You and I were having like a text exchange to it, and like okay, I was watching it downstairs, you were watching it upstairs, and like you could hear us. I'd hear Trump would say something stupid, and then he'd be like, "Fuck," and then something dumb would happen. I'd be like, "Oh shit!" Like it was just like we were watching like a reality TV show or something.
It's crazy with the most reality TV shows I've seen.
Yeah, like. There was one point there, about 20 minutes in, where he just constantly kept erupting her. I thought someone was going to throw a punch.
Yeah, just kept interrupting her, like just wouldn't let her talk, and like they were just kind of both talking over each other.
And he was yelling. He was yelling at the moderators.
Yeah,
it was,
which is funny though, because a lot of his supporters are actually like, oh, the media is being really hard on Trump because they hate him because he's going to throw down the corrupt political and news system.
That's not what happened.
And yeah, the news system is a bit corrupt, but come the fuck on. Like, Trump is the one who's going to fix that.
Yeah, exactly. And like, he's just...
At least not with destroying everything else.
Terrible. He's just a big whiny baby. Yeah. Like, the first thing that happened that I thought was insane was that, so he responded to something. And then Hillary answered that question as well. And then Trump's like, I'm going to respond to her. And they're like, well, we're not really doing that. And he's like, well, how'd she give us to respond? She responded to the initial question, not to her. And he's like, that's hardly fair. I'm going to talk anyway. So he talks. Yeah. And, he does this thing. And he's like, why are you cutting me off? This is ridiculous. And then whenever he would go over time, he'd be like, this is stupid. You don't call her on when she's going over time, even though they would still be like, hey,
and there was Hillary, that hilarious point earlier in the night where she went over time. And they're like, oh, okay, Hillary, you've gone over time. Yeah. We're going to move on to an audience question. And he's like, no, can I respond?
Yeah, it's like, well, we've already gone over time. Yeah. And then the most ridiculous thing I think of the night is, so everyone knows about the leak that happened on Friday.
Yeah.
Of the leaked audio of the grab her by the pussy. That's like the big quote from it.
Trump with his locker room talk.
Locker room talk. Also, I've noticed on Twitter, a lot of athletes have come out being like, nope.
We don't talk like that.
We don't. Like, and I'm sure there's some guys that probably do. There's always people like that, but like,
not the ones succeeding in life.
Exactly. You don't be a fucking asshole. Like, yeah. I've maybe when drunk, I've said something almost to that extent, but I don't think I've ever said anything I'm just going to walk up to a random girl.
I don't think I've joked about sexually assaulting.
Exactly. Like, I've been like, oh, that girl's hot. Or like, you know what I mean? But like, I don't think I've ever gone that far, and I'm a pretty big asshole. So like, that's pretty excessive, dude.
Yeah, it was really, really excessive.
But then
what he
the
said.
Crazy part was when they were like, okay, so let's talk about this. And someone timed it. He went from saying, I'm sorry, to ISIS in 14 seconds.
Beautifully quick.
It's ridiculous.
Really sorry. I regret my words. But there's beheadings going on by ISIS.
Yeah, exactly. He's
That's basically it.
No. What he actually said, too, was that, okay, I'm sorry. This is terrible. Locker room talk happened 10 years ago. My bad. But there's ISIS and much more important things going on.
Yeah.
So he just brushed it off entirely. And the fact that he brings up the 10 years thing, yet and this is something I mentioned to you, which is like one of these things that would only happen in like a supervillain movie. He stacked the crowd and brought
four
women. So 3 of them had claimed that Bill Clinton sexually assaulted them, and one of them had been sexually assaulted by a man that Hillary Clinton had defended many years ago.
Yeah,
back in the 70s. And he stacked the crowd with these women, and had a pre-conference before the debate. Actually, that was like kind of hastily put together with these women, and I think in a response to the leak.
Yeah, the leaked tape audio.
Yeah, but how ridiculous was that whole event? Like,
there's just so much kind of shifting the blame, and it's just kind of how he argues. He just either moves a goalpost or he attacks a straw man.
Yeah, exactly. And what boggles my mind is that when that debate finished, a lot of I was seeing online too. A lot of people were like, "Wow, Trump really came strong in this debate."
Immediately after, like, it was like,
how is that what happened? Like, I'm not trying to be condescending, but I don't see how anyone can see that.
I don't know. I think it was people trying too hard to be fair. Because, like, it is true. He came more prepared to that one than he did the last one.
Yeah.
He had things that obviously he wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas the last one, it was, that's the other thing too. With the last one, it was just this very kind of like rambly, incoherent mess. And this one, he was like a little bit more coherent with his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So like everybody's praising those two things. Like he prepared and he sounded less like a 90-year-old dementia patient and more like an 80-year-old dementia patient.
But I mean, if you're more coherent in your thoughts, but all of your thoughts and facts are inaccurate, what?
I know. Like,
point is it?
People are overlooking that. I think it's just trying to be fair, so they're not like, yep, straight up Hillary win. But
and
it would just be the same thing the whole time. And obviously, news organizations don't want that.
Yeah.
They want there to be ups and downs.
But I mean, there's a bigger issue going on here. The fact that, sure, Trump is a bad guy, but the fact that the conditions exist for Trump to be able to get to this place, and the fact that we have someone like Clinton who, if you don't like her, that's fine. But a lot of people are saying, well, she's the better of the two evils. I don't think those are comparable evils.
They're not comparable evils.
I think if you think those are comparable evils, you are really not looking at this situation properly.
I mean, like, Hillary is, if she's evil at all, it's the same evil that's been American politicians for the last, I don't know, since fucking Reagan or something.
Yeah.
Like, long time. Trump is like this whole brand new form of evil.
Well, it's just, it's the racist rhetoric, right? It's the claims, the terrible claims about, Muslim and Islam people, and just these broad generalizations and this fear mongering that he brings into it.
Yeah.
And trying to scare people.
So much saying that America's like gotten so much worse and needs so much more help.
That's not accurate.
Like, from the start of Obama's 2 terms to now, way better. Way better.
With regards to jobs, there's been 10 million jobs that have been created. And he says things that are in no way accurate, but he says them like they're facts.
Yeah.
Like he said there after they called him out on the leaked tapes. He's like, well, I respect women. No one respects women more than I do. Well, obviously that's not.
Obviously there are guys who have not said that before, and therefore they respect women.
Yeah, like just because you say something doesn't mean that it's true, but people take what he says as truth. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know. It's like exaggeration is acceptable. But
we're at this point where
shouldn't be. It's an anti-intellectualism.
Yeah, people are considering, and some people are considering opinions more valid than facts.
Yeah.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's, what are the actual facts? What actually happened in this situation? How is that not important? And it's obvious for this election that the facts are not important. To a lot of people, they are irrelevant, and it's what people feel is what's really important.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's
sad,
really
sad.
bad. And something I want to get into too, which now if you followed this podcast for a bit, you'd know we're both kind of not very SJW like. We don't really tend to follow that. We don't really tend to get into that type of things. But I don't think anyone could argue with the fact that Hillary Clinton, very qualified for the job. She worked in the public service. She's, been Secretary of State. She was married to
probably one
Bill
of the
Clinton.
most qualified runners we've ever had for America.
Exactly.
President.
And the fact that she's contested by this moron, this big buffoon, and that people are still comparing them on equal levels, it's sexist as fuck.
Fortunately, I do think it is a lot of what it is.
People aren't going to say it's because she's a woman, but it's the perception of her that's getting perceived in that way. Like, I don't agree with everything she says or everything she does, but she's got some fucking balls, dude.
It's people using the whole incompetence thing.
Exactly.
And that it's part of a lot of the sexism that women face is sort of incompetence complex. They have to prove themselves as being able to do something more so than a man does.
Yeah.
But Trump and everybody who's been against Hillary is kind of running with that. Unfortunately, she's had cases in the past that just kind of feed into it really easily, such as Bill Clinton's infidelity. And, she's been in politics so long that there's just so much dirt you can bring up just because, you work in politics. You have to make tough decisions sometimes. You can't make perfect decisions all the time.
No, but I think on the whole, she's done a decent job at what she's done. And it's just, she's clearly qualified for this position. And it's that view that it's okay to put them on the same level because they're not even close on the same level. People saying that it's lesser of two evils, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous to act that way. And it's, I don't know, dude. It's sure, she doesn't have much of a personality with regards to that. And a lot of people don't like her because of that, because she's kind of
she's a very just generic politician.
She is. And she kind of
which I think is one of the worst things to be
She's
running
awkward,
up against
right?
Trump. Yeah,
she has that awkwardness about her, but I don't give a fuck if she's awkward if she knows what she's doing.
She's super qualified to do the job.
Yeah, and that's clear. And
running against somebody who cannot do the job, like, it should be an easy choice.
Yeah, and just the dirt that's brought up on her a lot is like, who cares?
Yeah,
like I mean, I understand the emails thing is a big issue. It seems like more of that was just some poor judgment on her part.
Poor judgment on her part, and like, people not educating her properly, or her not caring to get that proper education. But security.
It was most definitely a misstep, and she's admitted that many times, and it's never going to happen again. Clearly,
She obviously learned something.
Yeah, obviously learned something. But the thing is, she's not the only person who's done this.
Yeah,
in a political office, she's just the only one that's getting called out. I mean, because she's running for president, so all your dirt gets brought up then.
Yeah, but
she's by no way the only person who's done this, and not even at the biggest level. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of silly. It's all kind of silly.
Very, very silly reality that America lives in.
It's wacky.
It's unbelievable, really.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
I like where we live, Kev. I really like where we live.
Glad we're in a different country. Yes.
Oh man, I think it's time to call this one here.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, man. Where we count down the next, what is it, 90 to 80?
90 to 81.
Yep. Yeah, dude. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.